Geist. In your dream, you stand in the palm of the changeling's hand, held up above the vast, bloodied sea beneath you. The frame stands waist deep in the blood, looking down at you, its sensors aglow with awareness and intent. Around its head is a vast, barbed red crown. Though you know this cannot be reality, it does not have the same feeling as the dreams you've shared before. Rather, it feels as if your entire body is swimming, your body, your thoughts, submerged in warm fluid. You are sluggish, buoyant, and disintegrating, and the world is still and silent.
Do I have any sort of input in this dream? Can I speak?
Yeah.
When I try?
Absolutely.
I say that. I don't think Geist would say anything. I think he would just look back up at the changeling and then look around. Is there anybody around, or is it just an infinite sea of blood as far as he can see? Not even a sea, I guess, if the changeling's only waist deep.
Yeah, there is a sea. There is, I guess you might see like some tipped over buildings like poking out of the blood.
Okay.
Some like urban ruins. As you look around, the hand beneath you kind of shifts. You feel impossibly the flexing of tendons, the rush of blood, as it carries you kind of higher up towards the cockpit entrance of the changeling, which slowly opens up with these sticky strands of thick blood pulling apart as the orifice cracks apart like a big mouth.
Ew.
Within, in the pulsing darkness, you see a version of yourself, sat inside the cockpit, stitched into the controls and the chair with that same red barbed wire. The augments and prosthetics on that other Geist, both limb and flesh, have likewise been formed from this twisted cable. What is inside, which looks vaguely like you, stares at you blankly, in an expression neither of expectation or curiosity, as if it cannot know what you will say, or if it already does.
Can I look at my own hands?
Mm-hmm.
Are they red and sticky, or are they normal?
What do you want them to be?
Oh, fuck. I don't know. I think that they are also red and sticky, and then I think Geist is gonna, if he can move, he's gonna climb in. He's gonna try and sit inside of himself.
Sure. God. I think that's a roll. I think actually that is a roll.
Oh, Lord.
What do you want to call that?
I guess that depends on what the source of conflict here is. What is making this not simple?
You're trying to merge with a different part of your own mind, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the skill list here.
They're not exactly designed for sublime ego combination.
Yeah, I don't even know what that would be.
What does Geist feel like it is? Even if it's really abstract.
What I feel almost like it's command. Like he's trying to force himself to accept himself so that he can become himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure. Let's see it. Let's see you command yourself.
This is a sheer act of will. And I think that's a partial. Okay, I'll take it.
So I guess with a partial, I'll let you decide. Do you, in this sticky red space you find yourself in, with this barbed wire version of yourself, does Geist feel like he is pushing towards fulfilling the role that is kind of being pushed upon him here, or are you trying to claw yourself away from it?
I think at this point, especially after the little breakdown, the little mental breakdown that he had during the fight with Sacrifice, if you could call it that, he realized that at this point everything that Loyal said was true, and if he doesn't end up taking it, somebody worse probably will. And I think the only thing he really has left now is trying to win the war. And I think that he thinks that this is how it has to be, because if he doesn't become martyrdom, somebody else will, and then the Dusklights will have to fight them, and they'll probably all get killed. So I think that's kind of where he's at with regards to this whole situation. So he's like, he's just stepping up to the plate. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Somebody's got to do it. It might as well be me.
Okay. Yeah, you sit on yourself. It's like you're just kind of sitting in the changeling seat. The seat it's like wet and sticky and prickly. Like you just put a bunch of thorns in a pile of fucking strawberry jelly almost. And they cut into you. It almost feels like they're barbed, like they're sticking you, like you're stuck in this seat now. These voices come out of, it almost sounds like it's coming from inside your head, not like you're speaking, but like you're speaking with your mouth closed, and it's not you speaking. Just like a voice from, like, not behind, not either side, but like right on top of you. And the voice says,
"The time fast approaches. You are chosen. You are willing. You will become the incarnation. You will save them. There is no other way. The shape is laid. The corners are sealed."
I don't think Geist says anything. I think he clenches his fists, and I think the changeling also clenches its fists.
Images flash in your mind. You see Sunlith kind of veiled through a red haze, and he's holding the crown in his hands and lowering it onto your head. And that voice says again,
"Call upon thine coadjutor to bestow the crown. He shall be the gate which we shall pass."
And the cockpit closes up, and kind of the screens don't come on. It's almost like someone is painting on the inside of the cockpit, like an oil painting of their impression of what is outside, if that makes sense. These brush strokes, which almost seem to carve themselves into the glass screens on the interior of the cockpit. And this paints the night sky above you, above this bloody ocean. And the voice says,
"You must look upon what is to come."
And you see that in this painting, the stars are almost on fire. That there's this vast bleeding column casting itself down from the stars, plunging into the sanguine sea all around you, and this vast tidal wave erupts outward from it, dwarfing even the changeling. And you kind of feel yourself as you look into this painting, and you see these like burning stars. Your body begins to burn. Your skin turns red and cracked. Wires start creeping down from your head and into your eyes, and you are filled with this unfathomable pain. And you see Brea City from above through a veil of iron and fire. You hear voices in your ears from far away, whispering the secrets of the universe, not to inform you, not to warn you, but to welcome you. And then with one last surge of pain, those wires seem to reach the base of your skull, like boring through your mind, your jaw, and you awake in the cramped confines of the changeling, drenched in sweat. And you swear that as you awaken, you see that the screens of the changeling all turn off, as if they had been active while you were asleep.
Fuck. Is this the first time Geist has woken up in the changeling after not going to bed there?
Did you go to bed here?
I guess maybe he did. In this moment, he probably can't remember.
You usually do.
Yeah, I feel like he has been sleeping in here.
But if you didn't, you did wake up here.
Yeah, no, I forgot. Yeah, that's the only place where he's been able to rest lately. So yeah, I think he did. But the screens being active, I think, is maybe a disturbing development, but
yeah,
not anything else. Yeah, I guess he just takes a few minutes to catch his breath, and compose himself. And then he probably looks around, like just like turns the readouts on to see if anybody else is in the hangar, and if they're not, or I guess even if they are, he just kind of tries to make himself presentable and then pops out.
How do you feel?
I imagine probably pretty disoriented, but also like kind of like a general sense of anxiety, like that feeling that you have when like that something really unpleasant that you're going to have to deal with is coming up, and you're like maybe scared of it, or like you don't want to do it but it's going to happen, so you're kind of just like that anxiety of like inevitably having to do something bad. So probably just like that, probably just unease more than anything else.
With the nightmares out of the way, I guess we should talk about what we're doing here, which is that you filled up 2 drive clocks, which means you have taken the steps necessary to permanently remove your rival, Retribution, from his life.
Yes.
This was your drive for Mission 1, and provided you want to do that still, now is the time.
Yes, Geist, I think his motivations have definitely changed and his outlook has definitely changed, but I think he knows that at this point, one of them is going to have to kill the other one, and he feels like, I think honestly, he feels like he's the only one who can kill Retribution, and doing so would be it would be a kindness. It really is the only way to atone for what he's done. And it's not really, it is revenge. I feel like there's a part of him that still inevitably wants that, but I think he's under no illusions anymore that it's actually going to change anything, or, make him feel better, or, bring her back. I think it's just something that he feels like he has to do now because he's the only one who can.
Awesome. So, where we're left from all your groundwork or legwork is that you have finally located the place where the frame seems to always teleport back to after it's been defeated or has run out of time. It is not that far from Clearwater Crater. It's kind of deep in the river valley. Presumably that is where either the actual frame is, or where it teleported back, or where the pilot is. And you mentioned kind of off mic, I think at the end of our last session, that you wanted to ask Loyal for help. And I think that would be a good conversation to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Where is Loyal right now? I assume this is whatever passes for morning in our little secret ice base. Mm-hmm. Geist is going to go looking for him.
I think Loyal would be... Where's a place where you can do covert communications in our base right now?
The radio room?
I think maybe he's in there.
Sure, what's he doing?
I'm still trying to figure out how to complete my own drive clock, which is getting Maze off the planet. And I feel like he's trying to organize that.
I have a question.
Worthy, I guess, because he's our flyer. What?
Yeah, he's our man. I was just thinking, before in the dream, I didn't want to interrupt the telling, but you said that Loyal was putting the crown on Geist's head with his hands. Was it like the hands of his exopod, or was it like in his flippers?
It was in the hands of his exopod.
Flippers.
Okay.
The flippers.
I thought that'd be really funny.
Okay.
It was the exopod.
Okay, I figured as much, but I just wanted to clarify. Yeah, I guess Geist will be like, hey, Loyal, you got a second? I need a favor.
I think he turned to Geist like a little too eagerly. Like, I don't even know if he was on the radio yet. Maybe he was just going over what he was trying to say before even doing it. And he says, "Oh, Geist, sure. What do you need?"
I'm gonna go kill Retribution, I think.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, I know where he is. I imagine he's probably in pretty bad shape after that last drop. And if I don't, he's just going to keep showing up and causing problems, and trying to kill you all and trying to kill me while we try to see this thing through to the end. So I gotta deal with it.
Sunlit kind of looks around Geist to see if any of the rest of the team is there, expecting them to be there, half expecting them to be there, and he says, "You don't intend to do this alone, do you?"
Not exactly. I just want you there, on standby in case shit goes south.
Only me. Why?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to bring the others into this. I don't know how much I can trust them. I don't know what the fuck Joseph has going on. And this thing was something that I created ultimately, and it has to be me.
Sunlit nods slowly, thinking about his and Geist's shared experience in the clusterist communion pile, whatever that was. And he looks down into the machine parts of his exopod, basically he's looking at the floor, but he can't see the floor, so he's just looking into his exopod. He looks back up and says, "I will help you, but first I need to get Maze off of the planet before she becomes martyrdom. I don't even know if I can, but I have to try."
I don't think she's going to become martyrdom.
I appreciate your vote of confidence, but I would rather not leave this up to chance if I can avoid it. Her rage will be the end of everything, I fear.
Geist considers saying more, and then I think he decides not to. All right, I don't know what that's going to take. I don't think I can't afford to wait on this.
I think I have everything I need. It just has to be set in motion. It won't take long, I promise.
Okay.
But I will help you. Just wait for me.
Okay, thank you.
He nods again and turns back to the radio.
I was just going to say he watches Loyal fiddling with the radios or whatever for a second and then turns and leaves.
All right, so you're going to do Maze first then?
Yeah, I've decided. Just at the beginning of this recording.
All right, sure. So I guess all that's left really is Geist for you to try to arrange some transport with Worthy.
Worthy's going to be shuttling a lot of people around.
He is. I guess you both really need to talk to Worthy technically.
Yes, we do.
So I guess we can have that. You both run into each other at Worthy again.
We bump into each other at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Fancy meeting you here.
What's he doing when we walk up on him?
He's tuning up the ship, adding some new plating on one of the wings.
Okay. Hey, Worthy. Is this a bad time?
No, it's great. Hi, hello, Geist.
Hey, I got a loose end to take care of, kind of an important one. I was wondering if you could take me for a drop over the river valley.
You too?
Yeah. What do you mean me too?
What? Joseph's already scheduled me to take him out that way. A couple days from now.
Oh, fuck.
So, he's heading out to Greywood Sands. So that's kind of on the same trajectory. So I guess you're going to be carpooling then. I have to take... Yeah.
Fuck. All right. Fine. Yeah, that's fine. Did he say what he was doing out there?
Personal business? I mean, what are you doing out there?
Oh, yeah, it's personal business.
That's what Loyal just told me too.
So there's a lot of personal things happening right now.
Aren't you supposed to be not leaving the base? Wasn't that the whole thing?
I can't speak for anybody else, but this is real important.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're carpooling. Loyal, I can't take you into the city. I can drop you off outside of it with a vehicle or something, but you have to figure out it from there. I can take you tomorrow, and then I can take Joseph and Geist day after, or something.
Fine. Okay, that I can work with that. Thank you, Worthy.
Worthy gives a big sigh.
Okay, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah.
Our poor shuttle driver.
Yeah. Geist seems like he's mentally grappling with this new information, but he storms off while muttering to himself.
Hex, while your allies are tending to more personal matters, you've decided to look for something far more important: job security. You've expressed interest in two potential employers, the first being September Bluth, who is the head of the corporate council, and the second being Tyrrell Crine, the financier for the Clusterist Resistance, and a representative of a number of shadowy interests, which at this point are mostly unknown to you. You have Bluth's email, and let's assume that Tyrrell has given you new contact information. With Bluth, I think it's an easy pitch to kind of explain what you're looking for, but in Tyrrell's case, I think she'd need a bit more reason as to why you need to have this meeting now as opposed to after the conflict is over, which was her original pitch to you, which was like, once this is all blows over, let's get lunch or something.
As Hex stares at the empty email draft, his pitch is he wants assurances. He doesn't know how this is going to end, frankly. He's shaken with his confidence in the Peacekeepers, but he doesn't necessarily want to give that away to Tyrrell over an email. So the way he's positioning this would be, he knows this is nearing an end, and I think Tyrrell knows that as well. He just wants to front run any potential fallout after this fact. I mean, Tyrrell probably already knows he's a war criminal, so why not speed up this process, and anything else he'd feel more comfortable talking about verbally.
Great. So we'll you sent out that email, and we'll get back to that later. But let's talk about Bluth. You reach out to him. You probably get like an email for like an interview time on like a remote video call. I mean, when you reached out, was it a similar thing where you're like, I'm just looking for options for when this is over? Because you probably remember last time Bluth talked to you is that he said he probably wouldn't be hearing from you again for a while, given like the whole war criminal thing. So you reaching out to him may be a bit unexpected.
Is this after Hex's initial reach out, or more positioning for the initial? Because I could see Hex addressing that up front.
Yeah, let's talk about the addressing up front.
Yeah, Hex knows that Bluth, this is a liability. But the pitch to Bluth is he's not going to have another Dusk Lights after this conflict. So having a Hex on tap to do whatever fun work the corporate council needs doing is Hex's pitch.
Okay, sure. Okay, so you have this call. You join on time, and for a good 10 minutes, nobody shows up. But then someone finally joins, but it's not Bluth, like you may have expected. Instead, you see the face of Generator E, your old associate who now serves as Bluth's executive assistant. And he says, "Oh, hey, Harold, sorry, Bluth got caught up with something. So I can do the interview, I guess. Sorry, I don't have the notes in front of me. What position was this for?"
All right, I think I get the message here.
No, like really, it's important. It's just I kind of got thrown into this last minute. You know, it's nothing personal.
No, that makes sense. Well, listen, if Bluth wants to forward you the rest of what you need, we could just reschedule this.
I just think it's really important that we get it out of the way now, just so I can like present it to Bluth, and I'm sure he'll reach back to you, or HR will, or something.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
You sure?
Appreciate the time, Jenny. I hope Bluth is treating you all right.
Oh, yeah, well, not really, but he pays okay, and that's, I guess, the most important part, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's great talking to you. We'll be in touch, I think.
All right. Take care, I think.
Yeah. Bye. And yeah, the Zoom call closes. I think, like, soon after the call closes, you receive a message from, who you presume to be Tyrell Crine, and you receive some instructions from her, and it says, tomorrow at 3 p.m., you're going to head out into the ice desert outside the base at the same place you handed off the teleporter parts, and that's where she'll meet you. So you have that in your calendar, right?
Yeah, Hex writes that down and puts a reminder for, obviously, 12 hours before. It's a long commute to the ice desert.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the time comes.
I forget what I said it was. I think it might be like a 10-minute drive from the base. Like, it's like beyond the weather control area of the base, like in the actual blizzard. I'm assuming you're driving and not walking, unless you really need to get your steps in.
Yeah, he's driving.
So you drive out of the weather control area. The blizzard immediately kicks in. It really hampers your vision. And as you are approaching this meeting point, you are perhaps surprised to see a structure come into view, a bar with a gently glowing sign above the entrance, naming it Dyad Overflow.
And this was not here before.
No, last time you were here, there was a small ship with some mercenaries who took the teleporter parts. There was no bar, and this is like a full building.
Like, I guess to put in perspective, relative to a Shell gas station in real life, how big is this?
2.5 times the size.
Holy shit. Okay. Hex raises his eyebrows as he pulls into where the parking lot for this building would be.
Yep.
On the ice desert, and steps out of his car.
You enter the bar through a pair of double doors. Immediately, the temperature jumps from like below zero into a far more room temperature. The air is filled with the smell of liquor, soaked wood, fried food, and a lingering smell of cleaning chemicals. The interior is cozy, very classical in design. There's wood floors, recessed booths along the outside of the room, a kitchen door in the back, and in front of it is a large steel bar lined with cushioned stools, one and only one of which is occupied by a person, Tyrell Crine. She's wearing kind of just like a simple black blazer, some slacks, and tennis shoes, oddly enough. Nothing too formal. The bar is otherwise empty, but bizarrely, there are sounds of people in it, as if it was at capacity. There's like a murmuring of intermingled voice, which kind of seem to come from all around, like they would in a full bar, but they lack any source.
Well, Hex approaches Tyrell, and I assume there's another seat for him to sit in, or is this intentional? Hex is
there's
standing?
plenty. There's a full row of stools.
Okay. Got it, yeah. Hex sits next to her and says, was the bar necessary?
She kind of gives you a grin, and as you sit down, the kitchen door opens, and a robot comes out and walks up behind the bar, and it looks a lot like Joseph in general design. Kind of tall, spindly, with a single eye atop an almost like columnar head. It's wearing, almost kind of comically, a classic vest over its metal body with a name tag on it that is labeled Abraham. And it approaches you and asks,
"May I take your order, sir?"
I'll have what she's having.
"Very good, sir."
And the robot very quickly produces a beverage, which it's probably... I gotta think about what it is. I should have predicted that you would have ordered what she was having. I think she's having a gin and tonic with, like, instead of like a lime, it's a blood orange.
Okay.
I think very classic, with a little twist on it. She looks at your drink and kind of takes a sip of her own identical one and says, "Good choice."
I could say the same to you, he says after taking a first sip.
I am surprised by your boldness, Harold. Following up with a meeting after falling through on your bargain for the teleporter pieces, though I must admit I respect it.
I'm sure you can also respect that I want this to end cleanly, if that makes sense. Or at least as clean as it can.
And by this, you mean your situation in this whole conflict, or...
An astute observation, yes.
Before we start, Harold, would you be so kind as to tell me what did happen to that last teleporter piece? How it was destroyed?
I'm not even going to pretend to know what happened. But I can tell you that the lack of professionalism there is why I'm talking with you today.
Were you doing some experiment on it? Were you using it for target practice?
Are you familiar with Loyal?
Yes, I know the dolphin.
The dolphin did something. I don't know what.
In the sense of like a psychic thing?
Exactly.
That is too bad. Too bad for Loyal. Too bad for me. But it's good that it is at least destroyed. I am afraid a similar effect might have been placed on Loyal, but that's his problem, not yours. Well, thank you for the description.
Of course.
As I have said before, I am interested in working with you. There is still much I cannot tell you. We can do a preliminary discussion here to judge your aptitude and your willingness. You can provide me with whatever assurances you need. And I think it'd be best to hear that up front. What do you want from me specifically at this point?
Well, I don't think you're stupid enough to think that I'm only after protection. I mean, someone who wants that wouldn't necessarily do something as bold as this. What I do know is whatever part of the broader plans we're a part of, you're playing in, is something that I want to be a part of. I don't know if the Aura were involved, but all I know is that you have access to tech and backing that, frankly, I haven't seen any of here while being part of the Peacekeepers. And more importantly than that, I want to know what's really going on and some answers to those questions you said we couldn't talk about quite just yet. Interesting enough?
I see. So even with the little knowledge you have of what I do, or what you think I do, it's about knowing for you.
It's why I'm here on Terra to begin with.
Okay. That's a satisfactory answer. Let's move on to the next one. Tell me about your squad. What are your opinions on them? I feel that they're not so high as of late.
Well, I think any of my issues with them are pretty observable from the outside. You have Loyal, who, frankly, I can't read and never seemed dedicated to our cause whatsoever. Getting Loyal to focus on the objective has always been difficult. And lately I question his judgment. He says, no, there's no tablet or anything to gesture about the teleporter, but he's implying the teleporter incident and what happened there. Joseph, I can't trust him. As much as I like him, I feel a little out of my element working with someone I can't understand. And lastly, Geist. The man's a hell of a pilot, but I think that's all he is.
I see. No interest to take them along with you then, I presume.
Good luck getting them to come along.
That's true. That makes things easier. Next question. How did your squad destroy Sacrifice?
You're not going to like my answer, Tyrell.
Okay.
I don't know. We were out of our element. I'm sure you have some sort of footage of what happened there. I was disabled seconds after stepping out of that facility. I don't think Geist could do anything, and somehow Joseph pulled us through that.
You say Joseph pulled you through it?
At least he claims to. I didn't see what happened.
What did he say exactly?
Shit, hex rolls from memory? I don't know.
I think what Joseph said is that he called in a favor, basically.
Alright, Hex says something alluding to that. He phoned a friend.
Tyrell's face kind of contorts into a an uncharacteristic expression of confusion. I see. Well, at the very least, I'm glad that it spared you. I was honestly half expecting sacrifice to kill all of you.
Remember what I said about not understanding Joseph?
Yes, this is, troubling, to say the least. I'm not used to being in the dark, especially when it comes to some of our more important assets.
Try being me.
Yes, I'm sure it's probably stressful for you. Moving on. What is your ultimate goal in life, Harold? And how long are you willing to wait to achieve it?
Ultimate goal? That's a good question. I'm not like Geist anymore. I feel like I was driven by vengeance like he was. At this point, I want to know the big picture. I want to pierce the veil, so to speak. And I'm willing to wait however long it takes to get there. Frankly, though, sitting next to you, I think that could be a lot faster.
You might think so, but there are layers to this. I myself had similar goals when I first came into this, and you might be surprised to find out that you can wait a lot longer than you think.
Oh?
Let's just say the typical lifespan of a human is so much more malleable than we think it is with our current technology.
That doesn't surprise me. How old are you, Tyrrell?
Well, that's not polite, Harold.
We haven't exactly been cordial to each other this whole time, haven't we?
Suffice to say, I have been waiting far longer than I thought was possible when I first came on board. Not that I regret it. I've learned so much, and there's still so much left to learn, too. Anyhow, this will be perhaps a trickier question, and I'm interested to hear what your answer is. Based on what you know, on what you've seen, why do you think my organization is funding this war? What is our goal?
Well, let's start with something I think is undoubtedly true, and that's that the Oro are involved. When I first came here, I had a feeling this was some sort of strategic resource conflict. They wouldn't have refused to give up Terra Brea if it didn't hold something valuable. Initially, I thought that might be some sort of resource, something tangible, but after being here for as long as we have, I don't think it's something just purely economic. That doesn't make sense. They could have bartered some sort of sweetheart deal with the Soul Union. After all, it's not like we have any leverage. So, with that, my second theory is that it has something to do with our maw drive usage. For some reason, the Oro would want to undermine the Soul Union so that we'd be in a position weak enough. We're tossing us just another form of technology that more compatible with their views might make sense here. After all, why give them something that we could destroy them with? But I'm not too confident in that one either. So, the final one, I think this is something bigger than even the factions that I'm leaning on. What that is, I don't know, but there's too many unanswered questions for me to give you a confident reason. All I know is I view you as being on the side that can tell me more about these things. And so, that's what I think.
She gives you a coy little smile and says, "One of those is close, but that's all I'll say for now."
Interesting.
To finish off, Harold, I think I should probably ask the most important question, which is, are you sure that you have the stomach for it? For instance, when you destroyed the dam in Clearwater Crater and condemned all those people to death, you had a decent reason for it. It was a tactical decision through and through. However, in this position you may be seeking, you could be asked to do the same thing on a greater scale with far less clarity. It might come down to signing the death warrant of millions purely to set up a plan that won't come to fruition for decades. At times, it'll even be mercenary work whose only purpose is to increase our organization's capital. The reasons for the plans themselves may not be clear to you either. It may be a directive from a higher part of the organization, one that you will not be in a position to question or even know the purpose of for a century or more. Because of this, you'll need to have a sort of faith. It'll be a faith in the organization or faith in a greater plan for the universe. It could be faith in the market, or it could be faith in the transformative power granted to you by your paycheck. So, back to the question. Do you think you have what it takes? Do you have the stomach for it?
Yes, I think I do. Beyond the dam, I'm sure you've seen I am efficient when it comes to following orders. If it means I get to understand more of the bigger picture, and more importantly, at least be a part of it, I think I can hold some beliefs. Or some faith, rather.
You should understand as well, Harold, that you're walking away from the Peacekeepers. They don't have much reach. They don't have many methods of punishing you for deserting. But this organization is a little harder to walk away from. It's a commitment. You won't be able to interview at other places. You won't be able to weigh your options anymore. You will be locked in for good, or at least until you earn your way out. Can you live with that? Can you live with that for longer than you could even imagine?
Tyrell, I'm already locked into this path as it is. Of course I am. I don't think I could just walk away to begin with. If anything, I think that makes me the perfect candidate for this.
That is a satisfactory answer, Harold. And one last thing, this time for real. Is there anyone on Terra Brea you can't stand to lose?
Hex thinks deeply for a moment. Honestly, I'm not sure anyone on Terra Brea is someone I can't afford to lose at this point.
That's the right answer, Harold. And she kind of raises her drink to her lips and finishes it off and says, "Unless there's anything else, I think I've heard enough. Provided you live through this next part, we will be in touch."
Looking forward to it. Hex raises his drink and takes a sip.
It's a good drink. Very good drink.
Yummy.
Almost too good.
What the fuck? Hex keels over. Hex gestures to the door and says, "I'll be on my way then," and begins leaving and goes home.
You walk out of the strange bar, and when you get into your vehicle and look ahead, you see that the bar has completely vanished, with no trace left of its presence except your footprints in the snow to where the door just was.
Hex feels reassured in his decision.
Loyal, it is, I think, at this point with the chronology, which is kind of weird, it's a day or two, probably like a day before your operation with Geist. You have spoken to Worthy and arranged for him to take you outside the city and drop you off with a car so you can go inside, because he's not going to fly into the city because it's too high profile, because you're going to say goodbye to Maze Mourner, the prisoner who you've been working this whole time to free. You've gotten your 2 drive clocks, you have spent them, and she'd be good to go, but you are sentimental. You want to say goodbye to her, make sure she's all good, which is going to require you to sneak into the city. You hired some smugglers from Bluth who you've arranged they're going to steal her from a prisoner transport that was undergoing to take her to an actual prison off planet, which you arranged. And that's the window they have. And they're going to take her somewhere else, which we'll talk about when the time comes. You have to meet them at one of the auxiliary docking areas in the spaceport in this capital city. Unless you have anything you need to do in the base, we can just leave you off with Worthy has just dropped you off with a vehicle, probably just a whatever civilian car can fit a dolphin in it. Probably somewhere outside the east side of the city, which is not the ice desert side, which is a little more, you don't really get traffic through there. So we'll start off with you kind of driving into the city. The city isn't fully walled off on the outside, so it's pretty easy to get into those eastern city outskirts. And let's just talk about your plan here. As you were driving in, is there any special preparations you've made?
I'm imagining that this vehicle is like a van with a big area in the back that can contain Sunless Exopod, and like maybe he hooks into it somehow to drive this by himself. But I think the plan would be to switch vehicles. I'm assuming there is a main road that like takes goods in and out of this spaceport, and maybe at some point he goes to some switch off point somewhere along this main road to be put into like a shipping container truck that is inconspicuous going into the spaceport, and that's how he would get there.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So you would have arranged for someone to smuggle you into the spaceport, basically,
yes,
under like
maybe.
the guise of this is cargo.
Exactly, just along with Bluth's smuggling group. This is part of it.
Awesome. I think I wasn't going to have you do an engagement roll, but I think that is actually a perfect opportunity to do one, because this is basically, let me pull it up. Because this sounds a lot like something that an engagement roll is appropriate for. There's like,
Yes, it does.
there's an engagement type which is called smuggle, and in this case, it's like you are just having yourself smuggled in. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Let's do it. So you start with one die.
Mm-hmm.
Is the mission bold?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's pretty bold. You're going to the one place that it would be very easy to catch you, and if you did get caught, it'd be very hard to get out.
Yes.
That's very bold. So that gives you 2 dice. Is the mission overly complex? I don't think so.
I don't know. There's not enough like vehicle switch offs to say that it is overly complex. It's a little complex, but it's
pretty straightforward.
It is.
Yeah. Does the tactic exploit the target's vulnerabilities? I don't think so, especially with the Peacekeepers kind of being on high alert because of threats from the clusterists.
Yeah.
I think, cargo inspections aren't out of the question.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you've taken measures against that, but we'll kind of see how the roll shakes out. Does the squad have external support? You do. You arrange that. That is the smugglers in this case. I'll give you 3D. And is anyone interfering with the mission? Yes, someone is interfering with your mission. So you're going to take -1 dice here for a total of 2.
Spoilers. God, 2 dice. This is okay.
Yeah. You can't push yourself on an engagement roll.
No.
So roll 2 dice, and we will just see how this ends up.
We will see what the fates have in store for my little dolphin here.
Okay,
7.
5. Partial success.
Okay.
I wish you could roll a 7. It's 5 and a 2.
Exactly.
So with partial success, you're going to start in a risky position. You can't really tell exactly where you are, but from like just the sound of the road, maybe you have a little camera feed to see outside or something. It's not a big deal if you do. You have gotten through the main outer checkpoints of the city. A lot of these are placed along the kind of boundaries between the kind of outer parts of the city and the inner parts where a lot of the Peacekeeper infrastructure is right now. And you get through there pretty much unscathed. You kind of hear some guards at a little checkpoint ask for ID for the people driving you right now. You're in like the back of this big box truck, basically. What do they say they're carrying? Like, what's on the cargo manifest?
I imagined that Sunlit was in like a large animal crate that has like little holes. Like mostly it is just pure metal that you can't see through. There's little like breathing holes at the top, but I thought it'd be very thematically appropriate that it's just like this is like a cage for a tiger that you would put on a big tanker to keep it in the dark and quiet, to keep it from panicking. So I don't know if there is like exotic animals on this planet that go into a zoo trade or anything like that, but maybe it would be full of just like off-world exports of natural resources of this planet.
Yeah, I mean, do you want it to be a zoo transfer? I
would love it to be a zoo transfer.
Yeah, I think you hear the discussion where it's like, yeah, we've got a Terrabraean wild beast back there. really, really sensitive, or you gotta keep it sedated. And you hear like a brief exchange and like kind of voices raise a little bit. And you hear like one of the guards say, yeah, sorry, since you're doing live fauna, we gotta do a second customs check just to make sure everything's above board with new regulations. So we're gonna redirect you to our like secondary screening area down that way. And then you can get to the spaceport from there. The driver kind of just like tries to like argue a little bit, like, oh, are you sure we're on like a tight deadline? And the guy's like, yeah, sorry, nothing I can do. And they start pulling away to the secondary screening area. And the truck kind of stops, and it's kind of like one of those like border inspection checkpoints where the truck gets pulled over. They like, start looking underneath it with mirrors to make sure everything is all good. And then, unfortunately, you hear the back clasp of the truck opening as someone is coming inside to inspect the cargo. What do you do?
How many people are coming into this truck? It's just one guy?
Just one guy with like a little flashlight and a clipboard. He looks really bored. He's not armed.
Yeah, I want to let him get a little bit closer.
He's closer now. He's like shining a light on your little crate, like kind of trying to get a look inside.
I want to open a psychic link with this man, and I would love it if he has like a family and some children, because I want to broadcast a very, very strong emotion of my family is in danger right now, and I need to go look at them and be with them immediately.
And that's a broadcast, which is you can do that when you push yourself.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I think that's sway. So take 2 stress for pushing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna get 3d6, and do you want an additional die because you're pushing yourself?
Yes, please.
Sure, you're a risky standard. 4d6. Oh, that's a critical success. Holy shit!
Yes, it is.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, the guy gets close. The light is just about to like reveal that there's a dolphin in here, in an exopod, presumably, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He gets this feeling. You feel it connect with him. Just overwhelming feeling of worry, like impending doom, full panic attack. And like you see him like visibly his face just drop and he goes pale, and he like speaks into his radio and like, yeah, it's all good in here. I have to go. I think something's going on with my family. Just ignore the paperwork. Just fast track this one to the port. And sorry, just tell the boss I had to go. And with that, not only do you get rid of this little issue, as I'm going to skip you past any additional security you would have had gone through, as this cargo shipment has been fast tracked, and you're going to go right, I guess, like, where is this cargo going? Is it going to the same place that Maze is? Is it going somewhere else?
I would assume it was going to the same place that Maze is, yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, good time to crit. Always a good time to crit. So the shipment gets forwarded. The smugglers, you get offloaded onto a crane at one point, and kind of get transferred off this truck into the inner parts of the spaceport, one of these auxiliary ports. I think you probably don't go right into the port you're in, because the one Maze is in is not like a cargo area. Mm-hmm. It's like for a small passenger vessel. If you think kind of like a like those small passenger planes, how they have like small, like tinier
like a small
accommodations
area.
Yeah, almost like more like a dock than anything. And you are pretty easily able to come out of this unguarded cargo area, almost kind of like where they keep those like lost luggages at airports. It's like just behind like a little metal like screen. There's a little gate on it that the smuggling people have arranged to be unlocked. And so you're only like a small stone's throw away from the dock where Maze and your smuggler friends are. And proceeding to it, there's like a small bulkhead with like a couple of these casually dressed civilians leaning against it who kind of look at you. Are you wearing any disguise, or are you just kind of out?
Yeah, I forget, what disguise have I used in the past to cover up my exopod, if any? I don't even know.
You had
I can use.
You had the holo projector from that one mission.
Yeah, that was to disguise me as a different type of dolphin.
Yeah, and I think it may have changed the appearance of your exopod, since yours is very unique.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that is too risky at this point, since there's not many dolphins on this planet. I feel like they'd stop anyone that they saw.
There are dolphins.
Security was around. But
just not military dolphins.
Yeah.
So, like, you're fine, basically.
Okay, then
so
if I'm
you
fine,
wanna
if
do,
that's
like,
no issue.
Yeah, like, I'm sure, like, if you walk through the spaceport... I'm trying to think of an apt metaphor. I'm not coming up with one. But if you walk through the spaceport, you would be, might see a couple other dolphins, like on a busy day.
Sure.
Just like
I'm an average minority race at the
You're
spaceport.
an average minority race, yeah. It's like,
gotcha.
Someone, like, you might have more scrutiny because they're like, well, we are looking for a dolphin and there's not many, so be extra scrutinous, but you're past that at this point. It's just so, like, people walking through the hall, they're not immediately going to go, hey, what the fuck's going on? I know that exact face. Because you're already past security. No one's going to be scrutinizing you that much. Anyway, so you have whatever disguise this is.
Yeah, I'm using the same one that I used at the Bluth party.
Yeah, which we all remember what that is. It's a dolphin, but different.
Yeah, I think I'm disguised as a common dolphin with just a much less fancy exopod, more standard issue.
These two guys leaning against the dock kind of eye you, and they say, "Are you Sunlight?"
Am I who?
Sunlight. We're looking for Sunlight.
Yes, I say, yes, this is me. And maybe we have some code word or something where I say the bubbles shine most brightly in the morning light.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. You can go in, though.
Okay, I go in.
Yeah, they open up the bulkhead. They usher you in. And inside... you see two more of these smugglers who are kind of casually dressed, just like civilians. Behind them, kind of still in cuffs, is Maze. And in between you and them are two corpses of some of the port's peacekeeper officers. They appear to have been shot in the face with a small caliber pistol.
Oh, wow. Just laying out, nothing covering them or anything like that?
No, they seem to be freshly dead.
Wow. Okay.
One of the smugglers kind of speaks up and says, "You've got until these corpses are cleaned up. After that, we gotta go, okay?"
I see. And I'm assuming you have all of this taken care of. This is all standard practice for this type of mission.
What? No, listen, we're on a timetable here. Just hurry up. And they begin dragging the corpses into the little, like, modest passenger spacecraft behind them. Pretty small, something that would seat, like, maybe 10 people. And that leaves you alone with Maze, who is kind of looking at you with an expression of confusion, with a subtle amount of approval, owing perhaps to the two dead peacekeepers in front of, or who were just in front of her. And she seems a lot more cognizant than when you last saw her. You kind of similarly, you do not feel that same oppressive presence of martyrdom within her.
That's good. It's a good first sign. And I will approach her slowly. Look at her expression. How does she feel about me right now? Keeping our typical open psychic connection if she wants to communicate with that.
She is, about as you read on her face. She's a little more guarded psychically. She's mostly confused. She doesn't really know what is happening. Maybe like she's glad that she's not being transferred off planet, right? But she's essentially just been kidnapped from one prisoner transport and now being held prisoner by other people who just killed two peacekeepers, which is a good sign because she doesn't like them. But now you're here as well, which is a little confusing, especially since she probably doesn't know that you are even really allied against the peacekeepers at this point.
Mm-hmm. I want to say hello to her. Say, hello, Maze. And is there anyone left in this room? Can I ask for these cuffs to be taken off of her? Because I imagine that he wants that right now.
Sure. Let's just say they probably wouldn't have given you the keys. You could have asked for them to be taken off before they left.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, sure. Let's just say they're like, "Are you sure?" I heard this one's dangerous.
Yeah, the first thing I say when I get in there is like, what are these cuffs still doing on her? You're getting her to freedom. Take them off.
All right, and they uncuff her before taking the corpses away. So yeah, she's like rubbing her wrists a little bit. And I guess she would say, what is this?
I am making sure that you don't end up in prison. We're taking you to Earth.
What?
Yes. You can't stay here any longer. And I have arranged for you to leave all of this far, far behind you.
Earth is a big place. Oh, where are they taking me?
All right, now this is where we brainstorm. Where we are taking Maze. Like, I imagine, like, in Sunlith's mind, he's just, like, envisioning this, happy ranch for disadvantaged little girls.
Yes.
Like, old friends, disadvantaged little girls sanctuary.
It can really be whatever you want. You're going to get her off the planet. It's going to succeed. That in terms of rehabilitation, there's no promises there. But she is a killer. She's killed before. She's a troubled young lady as well.
Oh yes.
It's hard. It's like I can't off the top of my head. Like if I think about someone in a similar position in real life, someone who actively is antagonistic against the place you're sending her, basically. Earth is the core of the Soul Union, her enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's an interesting thing to think about. I don't even know that I have a good answer for, like, where is the perfect place for Maze to go?
There isn't one, certainly.
Yeah, like, is it someplace where there's, like, powers and control to prevent her from just bugging out? Is it a place where it's like, here, I'm going to pay your rent, and you can stay here as long as you feel like, or you can leave. It's not my choice, where you're just kind of like letting her free and just let her choose her own path, basically. What's important to Sunlith?
Yeah, he wants to get her set up with whatever the equivalent of a social worker is. Whoever will be most equipped to handle her particular case.
Yeah, I guess one question is why Earth?
Yeah, what are my other options for planets here?
I mean, you can choose whatever you want. You can make up a planet if you want. You go to fucking Melar 4 or whatever, where Captain Spud surfed all day. You go to Europa. I don't know. But like, you can choose whatever you want. There are lots of colonized planets in the Soul Union. You send her to the moon. I'm sure there's moon bases or whatever, or a space station or something. Or you could even like set it up so that she has. Probably not a ship, because ships are really expensive. But like, just like a blank check, like here, you can use bypassage to wherever you want to go. It depends. Like, it depends how structured you want it. If you do think it would be best for her to be on Earth, there are a lot of resources on Earth for support, but it is also like I said, it is the home of the Soul Union, which could have problems for her.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea of sending her to a space station where she could choose where she goes from there. I gotta think about this some more.
Yeah, I mean, take your time. I'm probably going to keep a lot of this discussion in just because I think it's interesting.
Yeah, of course. I wish I knew more about Maze's personality and her interests beyond killing peacekeepers,
Yeah, I mean, she's a child soldier. So, like, she doesn't really have that many interests, unfortunately. Like, she didn't have a conventional childhood. I want to give her freedom to just explore what there is in the world, in life, in general. Things that feel good. Things that you can spend your life doing besides killing people. But I'm not sure if she would use that freedom to just go back to killing people. Though at this point, he's mostly sure that she wouldn't. He just wants to give her freedom and some sort of guardian, some sort of guidance that she can turn to. Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part. That is ultimately the hard decision you have to make, which is either you send her to what is ostensibly another prison. Even if it's like a nice rehabilitative situation, she might still view it as a prison. But in that case, you can guarantee that there will be people there to help her. You can afford, with a little like what you spent, the resources you have, your drive clock, you can afford to send her to like a very nice mental health facility, or like some sort of structured program. It's like, let your mind go wild. It's the Soul Union, for its problems, does have very good resources, and there's a lot of discreet private ones where her being a criminal would not be a problem. Or you could, if you don't want to do that, then you just have to, you could set her up where there's like, you have a job here on this planet. There's a good guy there who's going to help you out, but you don't have to stay there. And then you run the risk of her leaving, which is a possibility. I don't even know for sure which will work best. I would have to think on it, and we would cover it in like an epilogue or something.
I'm imagining this like idyllic mental health facility that has a step down program associated with it. Like it's on the beach. It's one of those fancy Malibu rehab style centers that is just far, far away from anything else. And just imagining that it's Earth, because Earth is beautiful. It's more beautiful than Europa, the moon.
Yeah.
It's got nature, which Sunlit believes to be very healing. And just, yeah, it would be like another prison, unfortunately, but the situation that Maze has been in so far, I don't know that he would think she's ready to just immediately go into society and be like, okay, here's money, go get a job. That's not really how any of this works. So, yeah, like, my initial instinct is just idyllic retreat on Earth. Sure. Many social workers, many sorts of like yoga, Zen practice, meds, anything. And then they help her get integrated into society after she's done there.
But so in this case, she can't leave of her own free will unless she's checked some boxes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's hear Sunlith tell her that.
Yeah, where's the last thing she said to me? Just like, what?
where are these people taking me? Like when we can just have I think you said Earth already, and then we kind of went on this whole tangent. But you just start with from the top, like, where are these people taking me? And you can say, well, there's a place on Earth, yada, yada, yada.
He says, they're taking you to a place where people can help you, where people will help you, where you can experience a life outside of what you have so far. Something normal, something where you can choose who you want to be outside of the violence that is this planet. And I want him to send images, just like a picture of this place that he has found, the nature around it, the outside of it. I imagine he doesn't know very concretely what the inside of it looks like.
I'm sure it has like pictures online, Mm-hmm. All those fancy facilities got some really nice staged pictures.
Yeah, so he sends her this. He sends her the beach at sunset, and kind of leaves off that you don't have 100% of your freedoms there. Waits for her to ask that.
I think she would say, like, after seeing all that, she'd say, that seems too good to be true. What's the catch?
The catch is that it is typically a 4-month program that you are required to stay on the facilities to complete, at which point they will help you on your next steps, where you can live on your own, find work.
I think her face like drops a little. It's kind of like a bit of a pessimistic grimace. And I think she looks like she's about to kind of say something. Maybe even like psychically you feel like it's very, very, very bald. She's about to say like, oh, okay, you're just putting me in another prison. But in that moment, it's like it falters. Like something kind of breaks within her. Like the last bit of fight she had is just falls flat. Like she's just looking at her own rejection of this situation, looking at what's in front of her, what she's coming from, and just seems so lost. And she kind of says in like this almost a scared little voice, "Why are you doing this? What did I do to deserve this kindness?"
As soon as he feels her disappointment, the brief feeling of disappointment, or not the brief feeling, but just her realization that it is somewhat like another prison, he just says, I know, but no one will hate you here. You won't be stuck in however big room it was that she was in before, like 10 by 10, or assuming it was small. And then to her question, he looks a little thoughtful for a bit, and then says, let me pose a question to you. What does any living being do to deserve kindness in this universe? Kindness is a birthright, I think. Something we are all owed a chance at. Something that should be given to everyone, but isn't, and it's not fair. And during all of my many years here, I have seen just how little of an impact that one individual can have on the evils of life, of existence, of war. I cannot stop this war. I cannot stop this fighting. But I can do this. I can at least take one person away from it. And that one person was simply fated to be you. I feel we were fated to meet. I feel that everything that has happened for a reason. For me to understand this place better. To understand you better. To understand the lives of everyone here. And I thank you for that. You have given me more than I think you realize. And this is simply a way of me to give back.
She looks emotional. Like, a little teary-eyed. And she's overwhelmed. A big part of her not accepting that there was destiny. I think you feel a large part of her it feels like she's not worthy of this kindness. She thinks that there's so many better people who've done less terrible things, who would deserve this chance, who would have better odds of even succeeding, to become reformed than her. But she knows that those people aren't here now. She's the one with this opportunity. Maybe if she had asked sooner, or she'd done something different, maybe someone else could have been in her place. But she knows that isn't the case. It's just her here now. And I think she just says, I'll try. I'll try to put this behind me, to, I don't know, forget about my hatred of you, of this place. Even now, I look at you and I see someone who kills my friends. But I don't see the point anymore. Maybe I should get out of here. Think about things.
You are deserving of this, Mace. All you have done has been for your survival, and I am proud of you for that.
There is a gunshot.
Of course. Okay.
at the door where you just walked in. You hear some yells, a scuffle, and then the door kind of opens up, and in walks a dolphin.
Floats?
No, walks.
Okay.
In a typical fully bipedal exopod. Very basic issue. Markings on the exopod identify him as a member of the military police. He is holding some sort of stun pistol in his hand, pointed at you and Maze, and he is accompanied by 2 human peacekeeper guards, not military police, just the spaceport guards. It probably takes you a moment, but you actually recognize this dolphin. Strangely enough, this is Reggie, the admiring kid who not too long ago you had been interviewed by before you were assigned to the Dusk Lights.
Oh god, yeah.
And he says, "Put your hands in the air, both of you."
Is he serious about this?
You tell me.
Yeah, that would be my first instinct. Just... his voice seems a little scared. So, I want to do a read to see on, like, how resolute he is in this, if I can do something suddenly to disarm him, shock him out of it.
What do you want to call that? It sounds survey adjacent to me. We love that roll.
We sure do. Yeah, let's do a quick survey. In which I have 1 single dot in. I feel like I should have more at this point. I just don't survey enough.
You want to push yourself? Do you want Devil's Bargain? I could probably think of one.
No, I'll just push myself instead.
All right,
I can handle it.
Failure.
Ooh.
Things go badly. You suffer harm, a complication occurs. You end up in a desperate position. What does this look like? Like you surveying?
Yeah, I would be trying to read his emotion.
Okay.
Just very quickly in this moment.
I think Reggie shoots you with his stun gun. The 2 guards next to him do not have stun weapons, by the way. They have rifles with bullets in them. So you're going to take the level 2 harm. Let's call it stunned.
Mm-hmm.
As he shoots you with this device, which shocks your exopod and kind of puts you into spasms. I think Maze makes a run for the ship as this happens.
Ooh. Can I resist that harm?
Yeah, sure. You check off armor as well if you prefer.
Yeah, let's check off some armors.
2 ticks in your pile of gear. I'm just going to reduce that down to level 1 harm for you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call that sparked.
Shocked. Yeah.
Shocked, sparked, whatever. So yeah, you get shot by this little stun gun. It kind of hits you on your arm or your leg, and it kind of like jolts you a little bit, but the exopod mostly absorbs it with its armor. Maze makes a run for the ship. I don't think the ship is on yet. Maybe it's starting up, and the 2 guards kind of raise their rifles. They don't shoot yet, but they're kind of aiming at you and trying to get a line on Maze as well. And I think Reggie says, "I can't believe you. You killed all those people, defied your orders. What were you thinking? You represented us. Every time people think about dolphins in the military, you're going to be the first thing that comes to mind. You've ruined it for so many of us. Do you know how hard I had to fight even to get this position in the military police? This joke." And they're approaching you now.
Sunlit is just like sputtering at this point. It's just, Reggie, why are you? What is this?
I told you, I got approved for early recruitment because of my aptitude. I thought I was going to be a pilot, but things turned out differently, it seems. I think they hired me just because I might have some dolphin intuition about you. And looks like I was right. Looks like there was something about this prisoner, after all. What are you doing?
I don't know if I'm paying much attention to Reggie's angry ranting at this point. but I am very concerned with Maze running off and the people with real guns having them aimed at her. I want to prevent them from shooting her. It seems like they're just like aiming at her. She's running away. Presumably they're going to shoot her, right?
It's not clear.
Well, are they in the cargo container with us right now?
So you're in a like a docking bay.
Ah, yes. Just out in the open.
There's the ship is behind you. It has a little like bridge or a ramp that goes down from it. Maze is like running up that ramp right now into the ship. Reggie and the two guards are approaching you. Let's say they're like, they're a few steps away from you. They're like kind of not within like melee range, but they're getting there. Like Reggie thinks you're stunned and is going to try to probably cuff you, or someone is lock you down or like shut down your exopod or something to that effect.
Yeah, I want to try to tackle these guards.
Sure.
I'm gonna try to push past Reggie here. If I can knock him over on the way, then sure. It's a good plus.
That sounds like a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to check off a weapon?
Yeah.
You will have less effect if you do not have a weapon. And you're already going to have less effect because you're shocked too. So you definitely want to have that weapon.
Can my spokes count as a weapon? I've used them as a weapon previously.
You still have to check off a gear just by how the fiction works.
Checking this as an unusual weapon.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. You can use your spokes. Why not?
Yeah, as I see Maze bolt and just ignoring Reggie's ranting, the spokes from my exopod for terrestrial quick movement just shoot out, thunk against the ground, and I start barreling towards these men with guns, yelling out, "Maze, run! Get on the ship!"
Okay, that sounds like a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I would wager you have 1 die in struggle.
Yep.
Your position is risky, still risky. Given this current scenario, risky, limited because you have that wound on you.
Yes. I don't want to push myself anymore because I want to still have some stress left for helping Geist.
Yeah. You're going to get some stress back after this. I think maybe 2, maybe 3. I haven't decided exactly on the number, just so that not everyone's screwed. But yeah, just keep that in mind. I can give you a devil's bargain. I can. You don't have to accept it, but I can offer it to you.
Yeah, I think I'll take that at this point.
Sure. So your devil's bargain will be Maze is going to come back and help you.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I like that. Let's do that.
Collateral die accepted. You're going to have 2 dice on this struggle. Risky limited still.
I got it. It's going to go great. We're going to get a nice roll.
Success.
Ooh, baby. Okay, cool.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, you knock over. So you trying to knock over Reggie too? Kind of get him off.
Yeah.
I mean,
shoulder him.
You have limited effect, so it's going to be mixed. But yeah, they think you are stunned, so they are kind of not expecting you to leap forward in this way.
Mm-hmm.
You plow through them. Reggie kind of gets knocked to the side. You barrel through these 2 guards. Because Reggie has the exopod, he's a lot more stable, so he doesn't get knocked over in the same way these 2 guards do. They kind of go sprawling. You hear the sound of breaking bones because you're like a vehicle, basically. You're driving a car into them. And as part of that collateral die, Reggie turns to face you with his stun gun ready, and it seems like he might actually get a shot off on you. And you hear a gunshot from the ship, and a bullet from a rifle goes through the back of Reggie's exopod and pierces his body and his face. I don't really know what the dolphin shock expression is, but that's what you see as some water starts spilling out of his exopod and blood starts to cloud it up as well.
Yeah, I imagine his eyes would go very wide. You would see the whites of them.
Yeah.
Be blowing some bubbles, mouth open. Where was he shot?
He was shot through. I mean, like I'm not a master of dolphin physiology. It's the equivalent of a gut shot.
Mm-hmm.
If not attended to soon, he will bleed out and die.
Gotcha. Okay, where's Maze right now?
She is on the ramp of the ship, kind of walking down And she has the rifle now trained on the other guards who are trying to get up from their supine position.
Yeah, Sunlit just yells at her, just get out, not get out. Get on the ship, get out of here.
There's a familiar look in her eye. You kind of saw it when you first got in contact with her and she was fighting you. She's in the zone. You're gonna have to try to sway her to get her to stop. I think she wants to finish this to deal with the threats in front of her before she's ready to go.
Mm-hmm. God, so broadcasting again would cost me 2 stress.
Yeah, you can still sway her.
I think I just do a regular sway. Says to her, over whatever clamor's going around, just, you've done enough, Maze. You've done enough. It's over.
And I will note that the guards are getting up near you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you succeed, she'll stop, but there's a chance they will turn on you. Well, not turn on you. They will try to get you. You're next to them, and they have guns. Just something to think about when you roll this.
Mm-hmm.
And you are shocked. So risky, limited.
Where are my smugglers?
They're inside the ship.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting it up. Looks like they probably want to leave. And presumably the ones that were outside are now either dead or incapacitated.
Mm-hmm. What was my method of egress out of this place?
You tell me.
Yeah, I guess it was just going to be like... Yeah, I would want there to just be another van in this small landing strip area. So I imagine that would not be conspicuous.
Yeah, you still have to get out, though. Like, you have to pass through... There is good security here. Less security on the way out, for sure, than on the way in. Because they don't care as much about that. But they don't want people smuggling goods into the city. So that, yeah, you could have there could be a cargo van where you drive out the back of the dock, like across the tarmac, like cargo area or whatever, and go back into the city. But you'd have to do that. And I think an alarm is probably gone off at this point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you still want to sway Maze?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just start with that.
It's just, at this point, nothing else is important right now. This is the thing that he has been focusing on just this entire time, these entire past few months. Just get Maze out. And if he can't do that, it was all for nothing. So we're going to sway.
Risky limited, no modifiers.
Okay, let's try it. And of course, if he fails, she'll kill these guys, right? Let's see.
Maybe. Partial. I think before she's fully convinced, she kills another one of them. Just like a quick tap to the head. Great shot. And like one of the guards just gets his brains evacuated from his head in front of you. And she kind of looks at you. I think the other one is still like trying to get up. Like maybe that's when you broke his bones. He's like really like trying to like crawl to his gun and get it. And Maze looks to you and, you know, she tosses the rifle. Actually, no, I don't think she tosses the rifle. Thematically, I think she slings the rifle around her back. And she says, "Are you sure? Are you sure you don't need my help?"
Yes, Mace. I'll be fine. No, just get out. Get out of here before it's too late.
What does she say to you? What are her parting words? I think she just says, "Thank you, Sunlith. I'll try to make it worth the price. I promise. Don't die. Okay?"
He nods to her.
I guess the ramp starts to get pulled up as like the smugglers inside kind of prepare to take off. I think like imagine there's like some sort of like blast door or like hood to the hangar that can be like closed, and like as the alarms have gone off, it started to close. She kind of stands on the ramp as it starts to close, and the ship starts to lift into the air, and like the thrusters kick on, and kind of just like looks at you one last time. A look of kind of a pain, of like uncertainty. Maybe like she like steps forward to like try to jump down, and then stops herself and this turns on her heel and like marches back into the ship, and it closes up behind her and goes off into the sky.
That's good.
What do you do next? You got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm like thinking, okay, the van that I have as my escape vehicle is an armored van, and then we're gonna have like a chase sequence through the city to get out of here. It's gonna be like an action movie, but then I'm thinking, okay, like, how does he lose the entire military police surrounding this very populated area and not lead them back to the base?
I mean, I'm guessing you have some sort of meeting spot with Worthy outside the city.
Yeah.
I mean, the best way to do that is to go fast.
Yep.
They may not be expecting you to go out through that way instead of the way you came in. That does mean, however, Reggie will die.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have to make your peace with that, one way or another.
God, okay. Isn't there people around here that could find him?
It's not clear. It's bad. It doesn't look good though. You might be able to stop the bleeding, but that would take time, and that's not something you have a lot of.
Yeah, I don't have the means to go through his exopod and provide medical care. It'd be very funny if I just adopted another war child at this point and took him with me. But I don't think we have the capacity to do that either. Can I just take one of the radios from peacekeeper guys who have been killed by Maze and call in some help for Reggie here before I book it?
You could do that.
Yeah, Sunlit would do that at the very least. He would be moving to go, turn around, see if Reggie's saying anything, and then call in some backup for him, or just say medical assistance needed.
Yeah, I think he just says, like, why. He just keeps saying why, like, over and over again. He's, like, in shock at this point. Yeah, I don't think this is any particular skill to get help for Reggie. I mean, you're not a doctor. It seems bad. I guess it's a luck roll. I think is just your squad's tier. 2d6.
Sunlit says to Reggie, You're too young to understand. I pray that you do someday. That's all I can say to you. And then he goes on the radio to be like, medical care needed at Hangar Bay, whatever this is. I'm rolling a 2d6. See how lucky I get.
Partial success. 5 and a 5.
Mm-hmm.
You call it in. We'll get back to that later.
He looks at Reggie and he sees just a pre-Maze, basically. Someone who could become what Maze did, and then what he tried to undo. He just feels this sense of this wheel of time spinning forever, and fights back a feeling of hopelessness with it, tries to accept it, and leaves.
All right. You get in the car. You get in the van, which is armored, I suppose?
Yes. I want it to be an armored van. I had that much foresight, at least.
Why not? Okay. You are driving across the tarmac. I mean, okay, so like I'm just imagining an airport personally. There are definitely like
off-roading.
There are emergency vehicles coming to this hangar. I think at the very least you have to get through a checkpoint. Like there's some sort of fenced off part of the road where there are guards on it with weapons, and there's like a big like bollards, little things that block cars from going through. And you need to think of a way to get through there.
Is there any way to get out that does not involve going through this checkpoint, or is it just walls all around?
I don't think they're walls as much as they're like kind of like reinforced, kind of like steel pylons more than anything. You can always do a flashback.
Mm-hmm. What if there's like an empty truck ramp that is waiting at the bollards? It's like the kind that carries cars and has got the ramp down. And we're going to do the action movie thing where you drive up the truck and just leap over the bollards.
I mean, that's great. I love that. I need something from you, though. They can't just be there. I feel like I need a flashback. At least some explanation of how you knew this would be here or got it to be here.
Mm-hmm. What kind of friends do I got who could be driving this ramped truck right now?
I mean, it could just be part of the smugglers, right? Where we have a flashback where you are putting this in place. I'll just give that to you for
Sure.
like, let's just call it 2 stress. I won't call for a roll, but it will be 2 stress.
Okay.
And now, given that you have this method of egress here, I think you need to roll maneuver.
Yeah, I am in a vehicle.
You are
I'm
in a
piloting.
vehicle. You are piloting it.
All right. Let's fucking maneuver this jump. Let's go. What's my positions?
You are desperate. Standard. I'll give you standard because you have this set up. Partial. Okay.
I imagine this fucks up the car once I land.
Yes, I think that's what I'll do the damage to. Is this vehicle? Because I'm nice like that. Yeah. You floor it. A couple of these like emergency vehicles, noticing that there's a flooring van going towards the exit, kind of turn around to try to follow you, and you hit this truck with its things down. The smugglers have arranged it to kind of be here, just kind of parked off to the side of the fence. And
I love this.
You go right over it. You go sailing over this barrier on the outside of the like airfield tarmac that the spaceport is connected to. And that deposits you back on the roads. This truck was not really meant to be jumped. I think in addition to that, you probably get some gunfire at you as you charge near this checkpoint. I'm going to combine 2 things. I'm going to combine a level 2 damage with a level 1 harm. So you're going to get level 2 damage on the vehicle. This will be temporary, which will just be, like jacked up axle.
Uh-huh.
And then you're going to get another level 1 harm, grazed as a bullet like goes through the windshield and grazes your exopod and damages like some of the arm.
So I'm steering one-handed with this steering wheel that is not cooperating very well.
Yes. Let's see, and you can resist those if you want, but you might trauma out.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that right now.
That'd be your final trauma, which would be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you are in the city. There are alarms going off behind you. No one is following you yet. There's no cars like on your ass as you peel off into the city, but this is the center of the city. There are lots of peacekeeper forces here. It won't be long until people are looking for you. What is your next move?
That would be in a panicked, adrenaline-fueled mad dash to just do a high-speed city escape to the best of my ability.
Okay, let's see. What is that? Another maneuver? Do you have a plan?
What are my options of coming up with stuff that are not based on stress?
Very limited. Gear and...
Can I... This is a vehicle. Can I check off a vehicle gear for this van?
Usually, I mean, what do you have in mind? Let's talk about it.
I want to say the van has a holo projector and make it look like a different vehicle. And I just drive away. But that makes it a little too easy, doesn't it?
It does make it a little too easy. But you do have a holo projector that you have used before on your frame.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, technically, these vehicles have quirks. Like temporary vehicles do have quirks that you can use to push them.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, well, I'll leave it here. You can push yourself using a quirk. You'll let you do it once, just because
Cool.
you didn't really pay anything for this fan. I kind of just gave it to you. We'll say it has medium vehicle gear. I think the holo projector would be a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
However, as an offer to you, okay, so the dusk lights squad sheet, you do have 1 material left.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to pay for it from there and take that money from your squad, you could do that. I would accept that as a resource.
Oh yeah, totally then. Let's take that money from the squad.
Yeah, it's a good money. Okay, you have this device. You have the holo projector. I think so. Let's say you disguise yourself as another vehicle. Now, your axle's still kind of dragging. Mm-hmm. Are you trying to just still rush out of the city?
Yeah, I'm just trying to leave. I imagine that I had the foresight to think that getting out of here would be more difficult than getting in. Just so I have all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And just like, I want to disguise this as a taxi. So I'm just a crazed taxi driver, which is normal in a city. And I'm going fast, trying to leave whatever the shortest route is out of here.
So the main obstacles that I'm contending with,
Mm-hmm.
just so to fill you in. So there is security in the city. You would probably have to pass through a checkpoint of some sort.
Like, as long as there's no more impassable bollards, I would be still just driving through fences, maybe changing the appearance of the car multiple times after I crash through each one of these checkpoints.
Let's get one more maneuver then. Maneuver.
Yeah, we're doing it again.
Okay. Since you have the holo projector, I will let you keep your standard position. You do have a jacked up axle, though.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put you risky standard. -1 die, though.
Okay.
That's 1 dice. Unless you want Devil's Bargain or something. Or to push yourself. I could try to think up of something.
Yeah, give me a Devil's Bargain.
Okay, here's your Devil's Bargain. I think that in doing so, you cause so much chaos that Reggie... You cause a traffic incident that prevents Reggie from getting to a hospital on time.
Oh my god, he just dies anyway.
Maybe. That's your Devil's Bargain. Your collateral die.
Save 1 life at the cost of another.
And that's not counting the humans that died.
Exactly. Save 1 child life at the cost of another child life. Yeah, that's sad. It's very sad, but it's fitting. It's relatively fitting. Okay, I'll take your Devil's Bargain.
Okay. Roll me 2 dice. Let's hope that he didn't die for nothing.
Partial.
Here's where we'll leave it. You drive like a maniac. People often can't see you coming because you're constantly changing your form. It's very confusing for everyone. There's a lot of traffic accidents caused by you. I think there's a lot of like other injuries too, like bad car accidents of civilians who are just like going about their day because of this. Maybe you even plow through one with your armored car. Who knows? You can't control it. Your axle's all messed up. And just as a result, the general chaos, you don't know it immediately. You'll probably figure it out in like a newscast down the line. Maybe even tomorrow before your deployment with Geist. That Reggie, a promising young recruit from the military police who had come here to arrest the war criminals in the Dusk Lights, had an altercation with one of them and was shot and killed by you, is what the news says. But you do get out. Your consequence is just that you hurt a lot of people.
Man.
And you're already awful reputation. Anyone who may have been like, okay, well, it was Hex is the war criminal. Everyone else is just caught up in it. It's like, no, they're all bad. Like, look at what they did here. Like all the people who died, and for what? Like, what was the point of it? And you car limps out of the city. You ditch it quickly, transfer to another vehicle, get out to the rendezvous point with Worsley in the River Valley. It's probably like a long, pretty long drive, like a couple hours of just like, it's quiet. It's like so much quieter than it was on this mad dash out of the city. And you just like, I think you just know that the price you paid, that other people paid, was so much greater than what you got necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But you have completed it. You have saved 1 person. Your drive.
God.
You can remove those 2 drive clocks now. It is complete.
Yeah.
Maze is off planet. We will get back to her.
I sure can remove that.
There you go. You get on the ship with Worthy. He flies you back. He doesn't really talk to you much. He's anxious to get out of there. What shot do we kind of want to leave Loyal on here?
At the point where we take off and start flying, can you still see the city from there?
Yeah, sure.
Far away?
You could just be like looking out the back. Oh, one of the windows are at the back ramp.
Yeah, I'm looking out the back, and maybe there's just like some search helicopters happening, and just like the city's obviously just in this state of chaos, and it's just silence, staring at the aftermath of what he has done, and they fly away.